Hello, I'm Kara, and welcome to Kara Tarot. My 5 on the Deck series is a way of learning the various cards of the tarot deck by comparing 5 different decks with what is written about them in their little white book, or the book that came with the deck. I have a background as a professional actress and voiceover artist, reading audiobooks, and I actually have an audiobook channel, Reading Rest Period. So it made sense to me to share with you the combined study that I'm doing, which is taking a variety of 5 decks and comparing and reading what's in the little white book about these decks, because so often there will be slight differences depending on the creative ideas of the person who conceived of the deck. If I have the larger book that also relates to the deck, I may include some excerpts from that, as well as other books that I'm reading to help study. This is a new channel. I obviously have nowhere near enough viewers or subscribers to be making any money off of this. This is purely for educational purposes, as I'm continuing my own review and re-education in exploring the tarot. I will list those books and those decks in the written information with the video so that you can look them up and find them for yourselves, the things that are so useful to me in my continuing education. I'm starting with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is my main deck. I actually have the giant Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. The instructions in the little white book are excerpted from The Key to the Tarot by Arthur Edward Waite. The Ace of Cups. The waters are beneath, upon which are water lilies. The hand issues from the cloud, holding in its palm the cup from which 4 streams are pouring. A dove, bearing in its bill a cross-marked host, descends to place the wafer in the cup. The dew of water is falling on all sides. It is an intimation of that which may lie behind the lesser arcana. Divinatory meanings: house of the true heart, joy, content, abode, nourishment, abundance, fertility, holy table, felicity hereof. Reversed: house of the false heart, mutation, instability, and revolution. The next card that I will read is the Ace of Elixirs, which is also the Ace of Cups or the Ace of Water, from the Antique Anatomy Tarot guidebook by Claire Goodchild. This card is next because this is actually the deck that I was working with when I drew this card today on Easter Sunday, and I thought the Ace of Cups is a beautiful card for Easter Sunday. The Ace of Elixirs is the keeper of the raw emotional energy in the universe. Emotional fulfillment is something we all seek, and this card reminds us that it is possible with a bit of nurturing. Following your heart is essential to making this type of spiritual renewal happen. If you've been feeling more intuitive and in touch with your emotions, there's a good chance the Ace of Elixirs is on your side. Things should be going well in terms of love and relationships, and if they aren't, the tide will soon turn, so it's important to stay patient. Keywords: raw emotional energy, new love, art, poetry, imagination, and joy. The next card is the Ace of Cups from Influence of the Angels Tarot Guidebook by Jody Boginski Barbesi and Karen Boginski. It's important that in this particular deck there are two meanings cards which influence what is read in the book as well. The number meanings cards say that the ace has the essential characteristics of the suit. The suit of cups with the element water stands for deeply felt emotion, not light or fleeting, intuition and psychic sensitivity, a way of knowing that is also a feeling, and hint words are flowing, fluid, immersed, not solid, full, empty, drained, or overflowing. Now from the Little White Book, the suit of cups. Cups represent deeply felt emotion, not fleeting emotion, and correspond to the element water. Think of how water fills, pours, moves, and flows. It is very similar to the types of emotion symbolized by this tarot suit, including love, bliss, compassion, sorrow, loneliness, and sentimentality. Cups are also connected to intuition and psychic sensitivity, a way of knowing that is also a feeling. Ace of Cups. Symbols. Cup. As the angels dip a huge heart into the cup, the water rises and may eventually overflow. This represents strong feelings and deep emotions that can no longer be contained. A big heart. Heartfelt emotions like love. Water. Water is a traditional symbol for emotion. As seen here, the light on the water suggests daybreak, which represents a fresh, unsullied, clean start. There is a pureness in real emotion. Angels carrying the heart. The two angels symbolize that positive feelings can be considered a spiritual gift. The Little White Book for this tarot, the Influence of the Angels Tarot, has direct meanings and shadow meanings for each card. Direct meaning: overflowing with emotion, strong, positive, deep feelings, feeling and expressing love, spiritually uplifting, being emotionally ready for something new, being open, and having a strong intuition. The shadow meaning: excessively overwhelmed by emotion. The angelic message, and there's one of these for each card for this deck: rejoice in your capacity for pure emotion. May your deep feelings move you towards spiritual connection, emotional understanding, and enlightenment. The next deck is the Elemental Tarot. The book enclosed with the deck is actually a sizable book by Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. This deck does not call the cards aces, they call them ones. And the suit in this deck is water. So this is the one of water, and it is titled Fountain. From a single source, a fountain spurts two jets that divide, curve upward, and cross, forming a Vesia Pisces, the symbol of receptivity. After reaching its peak, the water flows earthward, representing feelings and emotions. 10 scattered droplets of water nourish the dry earth. Below, a white dove with outstretched wings bathes. The red outline of the dove indicates earthly passion combined with spiritual purity. In a reading, water cards are always about the emotional side of our lives, and ones are about beginnings. So here you find yourself at the start of a completely new emotional experience. The card shows excitement. It could even be evidence of a love awakening. Perhaps someone has aroused new feelings in you, and there is a possibility it could grow into something exhilarating. It can also represent a long-awaited release of emotional energy, Often this card is chosen when there is an overwhelming infatuation. The moon represents emotions. Mars is pure impulse. If you feel you are acting impetuously or prematurely, this may be a good time to step back a little and let things cool down before further commitment. The cards in this deck have planets assigned to them, and as mentioned, it was the moon and Mars, excitement and impulsive emotion. They also have Egyptian gods assigned, and for this card it is the Babylonian moon god. Continuing the reading. Positive. Excitement at the sudden birth of new feelings, love awakening, a great release of emotional energy after a period of control, overwhelming desire to express deep feelings, love at first sight. The negative, gullibility, one-sided love. This deck has several additional meanings attached on each card. They assign astrological meanings to the cards, also the place in the family within the suit that the cards fall has meaning. The elements assigned to the cards are water, air, fire, earth, and spirit. And there are also Egyptian symbols on the cards. These are all additional elements of meaning that you can delve into with this deck. I am focusing on the major meaning of the Ace of Cups as it relates to a more general tarot study. I personally like decks that have additional meanings. I enjoy the fact that these are additional things to study and to incorporate to give even more depth and variety to the readings. And speaking of that, the next deck is the Feng Shui Tarot by Eileen Connolly and Peter Paul Connolly. I have both the little white book that came with the cards and the larger book that can be purchased separately. This deck is problematic for a few reasons. I'll try to keep it brief here because I will talk about this in depth on a deck review of this deck. I will say I love this deck. I love the artwork. I love the unique symbolism of this deck. There are editing problems in both of the books which resulted in a confusion as to which suit represents cups, which suit represents wands, which suit represents water, which suit represents fire. To me, it's obvious. The tortoise is water, the phoenix is fire. So what I read today will be my corrected version of that. The black tortoise, the suit of cups, element water. Core aspect. Good things are coming together for you and yours. Old restrictions are now easing away. You are able to initiate new ideas and future plans. The reversed core aspect. Preoccupied with those around you, unable to shake off deep-rooted grudge. Need to release and change outlook. That is the reading from the little white book on this deck. And I will now also read what is in the larger book for this deck. Black tortoise ace, environmental element water, sight element water, direction north. The water environment is represented by the snow-covered, irregularly contoured hills and randomly shaped groves of leafless trees. The water environment is the backdrop for the black tortoise ace, as well as the entire black tortoise suit. The black tortoise ace is the first card of the suit, and number 1 coincides with the water element on the bagua. The black tortoise emerges from the cold pool as a symbolic ritual, cleansed with new insight and sensitivity, ready to nurture the seed of a new beginning. Joy, excitement, and love surround the black tortoise as she begins her journey. core aspect, the coming together of good things for you and yours. Old restrictions are now easing away. Begin to initiate new ideas and future plans. The reversed core aspect, preoccupied with those around you, unable to shake off a deep-rooted grudge, need to release and change outlook. Contemplation. Life now starts an upward trend. Concerns you have begin to end. Reverse contemplation. Others see how you react, unconcerned and lacking tact. Directive. A welcome change is now developing. You have the mental space to think things out. Use it well. New activity can be exciting. Try not to repeat past mistakes. You are entering a positive energy that can change life around. The reversed directive. Too much focus on how you feel. You lack support because you are not sufficiently interested in other people's perspectives. The support system is there, but you do have to reach out, otherwise you may lose it. And the larger guidebook to the Feng Shui Tarot deck also includes proximities and talks a bit about meanings when this card is in proximity to a couple other cards. This deck, as I mentioned, also is layered with other meanings. It has Feng Shui elements, which include metal and wood, as well as earth, air, fire, and water. It also has a Bagua element and the interaction between the Feng Shui elements, the regular elements, and the Bagua for Feng Shui placement, north, south, east, and west. In closing, I will go back to the descriptions of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, since that is formative for how many of these decks are structured. From the book, The Big Book of Tarot by Joan Bunning, the Ace of Cups is a symbol of possibility in the area of deep feelings, intimacy, attunement, compassion, and love. In readings, it shows that a seed of emotional awareness has been planted in your life, although you may not yet recognize it. When the seed sprouts, it could take almost any form. It might be an attraction, strong feeling, intuitive knowing, or sympathetic reaction. On the outside, it could be an offer, a gift, an opportunity, an encounter, or synchronistic event. When you see this ace, examine your life to see how its loving energy could work for you. This card often means that love is the essence of the situation. It may or may not be romantic love. Look for ways in which you can begin to connect with others. Do you have someone to forgive? Or do you want to ask for forgiveness? Can you set aside your anger and find peace? Would you like to drop your reserve and let your feelings show? The Ace of Cups tells you that this is the time. This card also suggests inner attunement and spirituality. Cups are the suit of the heart, and this ace stands for the direct knowing that comes from the heart. Trust what your feelings are telling you. Seek out ways to explore your consciousness and your connections with spirit. Allow the power of your emotions to guide you in a new direction. Embrace the love that is the Ace of Cups. And finally, I'm going to close with the reading from Tarot for Yourself, a workbook for the inward journey by Mary K. Greer. Ace of Cups, heart opening, the beginning of love, pleasure, the opening of psychic, spiritual, or unconscious channels, receptivity, new opportunities for love and relationships, overflowing feelings, spiritual and material nurturance, social gatherings and the offering, gifts, blessings, love letter, fertility, conception, birth, marriage, dreams. Reversed, emotional emptiness, love denied or scorned, feeling drained, resisting relationships, unrequited love, insincerity, substance abuse, eating disorders, deception, delays, infertility, not trusting psychic abilities, disturbing dreams, unable to commit, sentimental, melancholy, abstinence, chastity, loving oneself, reclaiming feelings. This marvelous workbook that I am currently working through for each card also has questions to answer and a sample affirmation. Questions to answer: what is making you feel good right now? What would you like to do to indulge yourself? What and who is offering you nurturing or love? What messages are you receiving from dreams and visions? What does your heart feel most open to? Sample affirmation: I recognize this opportunity to express and accept love. I will include the titles of the decks and the little white books that are included, as well as the additional books and the 2 additional readings I did at the end, so that you can purchase these books yourselves if you find them helpful. This 5-on-deck comparison readings of the little white books of various decks is part of the way that I'm refreshing my knowledge of the tarot. I hope it's useful for you too, and I look forward to sharing more with you. I will be using different decks each time, as well as different resources. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.